what you like and what you don't like.
Okay, so Miami's over-under, wins-loss prop is 10.5 wins. So they need to go 11-1 to go over. Anything with 10 wins or less on this schedule, you want an under. So they are expected to be a very good team. Let's run through this, Randy, real quick. I'm going to get some easy wins out of the way. I think they knock off Stanford. They're going to take care of Florida A&M, Wake Forest, Central Michigan. I'm going to skip some of the games where they're kind of 50-50 for me. I think they take care of Pitt. I think they beat Duke. Darian Mintz is going to like that. Virginia Tech and Boston College. There's 8 wins on the schedule right there. Okay, the Florida State game could go either way. It's a rivalry, right? But they're coming off of a bye, so I'll give them a W there.
And they're home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
North Carolina. That could be a trap game if they look ahead to Notre Dame the next week. But I think this Bill Belichick North Carolina team is in big trouble this year. I think it could be a real disaster.
Oh, do you?
So I'm going to give them a win there. Wow. I'll give them the loss at Notre Dame. That's going to be a tough place to be, and Notre Dame might be one of the best teams in the country. So to go over or under comes down to this game at Clemson. Something tells me Dabo's got something cooking there. I think Clemson wins that game. Miami goes 10-2 in the regular season, under their 10.5 win projection. But that is probably, Randy, still good enough to get them into the college football playoff. A 10-2 record with losses at Clemson and at...
What to do, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Dynasty Reactions. I'm your host, Hurricane Mike, and today we got a clip from ESPN. They're going to break down what they think what the Hurricanes are going to do in the 2026-2027 season. Then, of course, I'll be back with my commentary. Let's do it.
How about the U?
How about that beat right now?
Is it fall? Is the U back? The U's already been back. New head coach, now head coach, Mario Cristobal, hitting the portal again. Darian Mensah taking over as a starting quarterback. You saw what it did for Carson Beck a year ago. Mensah leading the ACC in passing yards while he was a Blue Devil. He was average second in the FBS in passing touchdowns, only behind Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza. Miami has 5 returning players on offense, including Malachi Toney and Mark Fletcher Jr. Both players made their mark in the CFP while leading the team in receiving and rushing, respectively. Finally, defensive coordinator Corey Hetherman returning for his 2nd season in Coral Gables. Now, Hetherman completely transformed the defense into one of the top units in FBS last season, ranking 1st in sacks and 5th in points per game. Making his points now. Our sports betting analyst, Tyler Fulgham, is with us on Sports Center AM. Stay with the Canes. I love that we are doing this. Let's run through the schedule, and you are going to tell us what you like and what you don't like.
Okay, so Miami's over-under, wins-loss prop is 10.5 wins. So they need to go 11-1 to go over. Anything with 10 wins or less on this schedule, you want an under. So they are expected to be a very good team. Let's run through this, Randy, real quick. I'm going to get some easy wins out of the way. I think they knock off Stanford. They're going to take care of Florida A&M, Wake Forest, Central Michigan. I'm going to skip some of the games where they're kind of 50-50 for me. I think they take care of Pitt. I think they beat Duke. Darian Mintz is going to like that. Virginia Tech and Boston College. There's 8 wins on the schedule right there. Okay, the Florida State game could go either way. It's a rivalry, right? But they're coming off of a bye, so I'll give them a W there.
And they're home.
Exactly. North Carolina. That could be a trap game if they look ahead to Notre Dame the next week. But I think this Bill Belichick North Carolina team is in big trouble this year. I think it could be a real disaster.
Oh, do you?
So I'm going to give them a win there. I'll give them the loss at Notre Dame. That's going to be a tough place to be, and Notre Dame might be one of the best teams in the country. So to go over or under comes down to this game at Clemson. Something tells me Dabo's got something cooking there. I think Clemson wins that game. Miami goes 10-2 in the regular season, under their 10.5 win projection. But that is probably, Randy, still good enough to get them into the college football playoff. A 10-2 record with losses at Clemson and at Notre Dame is probably a good enough resume, but I got them going under.
So on the over-under, you could be done sweating by the end of the first week in November.
Exactly.
And then you just wait for the end of the regular season. You got a little winning ticket, burning a hole in your pocket, potentially. Tyler Fulgham, we appreciate it. EJ Manuel's going to join us next hour live from Miami practice. EJ's back. It's starting to feel like college football again. Carson back, now in the NFL, EJ. Now it's Darian Mensah's time to lead this Canes offense. How will that offense look under Mensah compared to last season?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, with Darian Mensah joining this football team, you think about how great he was at Duke last year, and even before that at Tulane. Again, last year, 3,900 passing yards, 34 touchdown passes, only 6 interceptions. So obviously that tells you that he's explosive, but also smart with the football. Now imagine him in the Shannon Dawson offense with even more weapons. Malachi Toney, Cooper Barkade comes over as well. And then Coach Cristobal and his staff did a great job of adding some other depth. Cam Vaughn out of West Virginia, Vandrevius Jacobs out of South Carolina. So a lot of good pieces to be used in this offense, and I expect him to pick up exactly where he left off by winning the ACC title last year.
There's really very, very little room for improvement for Miami, right? They lost in the college football playoff national championship game. They're favored to win the ACC again this year. So, EJ, who's the biggest challenger to the Canes in that conference?
Yeah, there's a few teams. I think the biggest one I'd say is SMU just because of what they're bringing back. You know, Kevin Jennings has been the starter there for 2 seasons, now coming into his 3rd year as the full-time starter, and Rhett Lashley has done an excellent job of revamping his roster. I also think the Clemson Tigers will be back. You also think about the Louisville Cardinals and what they've been able to bring back with Coach Brom, and then also UVA. But I would say the main thing with SMU, I think they have the talent. I think they also have the beef up front, the offensive and defensive line, potentially match up well with the Miami Hurricanes football team.
UVA getting a little mention. Let's file that away. That one stood out to me a little bit on the grounds of Mr. Jefferson's University. EJ Manuel, we appreciate the insight as always. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we're going to stop it right there. Of course, great video by ESPN. You can head over there if you want to check out more clips of the Miami Hurricanes. But yeah, I agree with the video, but not all of it. Meaning that those 2 games, Clemson and Notre Dame, they're the marquee matchups for the Hurricanes this season. Those 2 games are going to break Miami. And I can understand why people say Miami could potentially lose to Clemson. Early road test, new offensive line, Death Valley is just a difficult place to play at. And, they're going to have Dabo Swinney going to have the Tigers up to play. But I do expect Miami to come out with the victory. It might be a tight ball game, but at the end of the day, I think we have the better ball club. Clemson still have a lot of questions answered. Quarterback, who's going to be the playmakers on the outside. So while the environment is going to be tough, I do think Miami should come out with the victory. And of course, the other game, the biggest game of the year, potentially Notre Dame versus Miami. Another tough environment for Miami. Got to go on the road. Potentially could be a cold environment. But I think this team is battle tested, going through what they went through last year, making that playoff run. They're ready to go on the road and play a team like Notre Dame. You asked me this question 2 years ago. I would say no, but Mario Cristobal has done a great job rebranding and rebuilding the Miami Hurricanes program. So while Notre Dame will be a tough environment, while Clemson will be a tough environment, I truly think the way Cristobal has built Miami, almost like an SEC team. When you see some of these guys that step off the bus, they should be prepared to play in big games like this. It's going to take time for the offensive line to gel. That's the biggest thing. Replacing Marquise Bell, replaces Ferguson. I can't say his name. Apologize, but you know what I'm talking about. Number 61, top round draft pick for the New York Giants. That's definitely going to be difficult. Replacing Messador, replacing Bang on the defensive end, that's going to be difficult. But I think Damon Wilson and Marquise Lightfoot, they should be able to hold down the fort and be able to get us steered to the right directions. You know, we got Jason Taylor over there leading the defense. So again, I hear ESPN picking those 2 games potentially for Miami to lose. Those are 2 great college environments that Miami must go in and play in. But man, I just think this is the year. This is the best coaching staff. Again, we got Coach Leatherman leading the defense, Jason Taylor, Shannon Dawson leading the offense, a great offensive line coach. And like I've been saying in all other videos, this is Mario Cristobal best team. Again, there should be no I would say no upsets in the cards this year. I'm not going for it. We should have no Georgia Techs, no LSUs, no SMUs this year. It should be all smooth sailing. Yes, we have some tough competition with Clemson and at Notre Dame, but this team is, like I said, is battle tested and they ready to go. Hey, that's just my opinion. Well, till the next time, Dynasty Reactions TV. And make sure you like, subscribe, share, and pretty please leave all comments below so this channel can grow. And always remember, it's always about the you.